Hi friends, welcome back. So in today's video we're going to deal with form completion as a question type. Here we'll learn form completion in detail, in complete detail. We'll deal with all the strategies and tips related to form completion. Okay, so first of all, let's ask this question: what is form completion? Okay, we've already covered what form completion is in the previous video. So if you're watching this for the first time, do watch the other videos as well for more information. And also, if you're looking for IELTS related content, do subscribe to this channel. Alright, so form completion. Alright, in form completion, what we have is, we'll be given a form in the question booklet, okay, and then we'll listen an audio in which a form is being completed. Okay, it's usually going to be a conversation. That can be a dialogue or a conversation where there are more than two people having a conversation with each other. Okay, in that case, what we have to do is listen to the audio. The form would be completed, the form would be filled to an extent, but then it wouldn't be completed. Now you will have to fill the rest of the information and complete it. Okay, that is the task that you're given. Alright. So there are a few strategies in which you can do that. Before the strategies, maybe you'll also have to look into the tips. Okay. So first thing is that you will have to follow the sequence. Okay, in listening, no matter what, you will not be listening to the answer to the second question before you listen to the first question's answer, which means if there are questions like 1 2 3 4 given, question number 1 would be answered first in the audio, then comes question number 2, then comes question number 3, and then comes question number 4. In that case, once you've already attended question number 1, make sure that you stay ahead of the audio and then you look out for the second question's answer. Now there will be a certain points that are already filled in the form. Use them as clues, and then when they are mentioned, just stay wherever that particular point is mentioned. Don't move on to question number 2. Okay, because only if you follow the audio and the notes together will you actually reach question number 2 when it is being discussed. Otherwise there are high chances that you miss the answer. Okay, now you have to use clues. What do I mean when I say you have to use clues? See, whatever is already mentioned in the form are all clues for you. You could only use you could only track the answer down if you actually use these particular clues that are already filled in the form. Now whenever the audio says something that is being already mentioned in the form, you will stop there and try to track the next upcoming question just by staying there. So if there's question number 1 being discussed, okay, question number 1 stays here, and then you have some information already given, and then here is question number 2. You already answered this question. Now you will have to stay ahead of the audio and wait for question number 2. So when this information is already filled and when the audio reaches here, you will have to wait at this point. Okay, only then will you be able to track down the next question's answer. If you're once you fill here and if you're already here right now, what happens is you will not know when these information are mentioned in the audio, and then it might also mention this particular answer and it might move on. Okay, you might miss this. Okay, so that is what we mean to use clues. And next is units. Okay, in case of units, what you have is, see, consider this question: express train leaves at dash. Okay, here you have you assume that it is going to be a time. Say it is going to be 9 p.m. Okay, now if you will have to see how in a way you will have different units that you have to mention. Like maybe you can have kg, liter, you can have dollar, euro, or anything like that. Like there are different units that we'll get to fill. Okay, in this case it is that of time. Okay, and what do you have to do when it comes to time? Okay, if the audio says 9 p.m., then you will have to write 9 p.m. If the audio just says 9, you need not write 9 p.m. You'll just have to write 9. If the audio says 9 p.m. but you already have PM in the question. So suppose this question says express train leaves at dash PM. Even if the audio says 9 PM, you will only have to write 9. Okay, don't write 9 PM because then you will lose marks on that. Okay, so units should be considered seriously. Apart from that, there is something called keywords. So before I move on to the strategy, I'll have to say what a keyword is. When you're analyzing the question, so in the previous videos we've already discussed how to analyze a question. So when you analyze a question, there will be main words. So suppose take a sentence, express train leaves at. Now here the main word here is leaves. So the audio would have already spoken about express train. I mean, the audio might be already about express train. So you will not have to focus on that word. Now what we have to focus is leaves at. So there will be different times mentioned in the audio about the express time reaching or the express time express train departing, and different I mean, express train departing is already express train leaving. But you know, there'll be other times mentioned. So you are supposed to focus on when does the express train leave. So here leave is the keyword. Okay, we should already know what keywords are. When you already know the keywords, you will be able to track down the answer a little more easier. Okay, I mean easily. Now we'll move on to the strategies. Okay, so the first strategy, no matter what, for every type of question, is to read the instructions. Okay, you will have to read the instruction before moving on to any type of question, because in the instruction you will have information like the word count, or what are you supposed to do with the whole question, and what type of question is it, etc, etc. Without looking into that sort of information, you will not be able to answer all questions correctly. Okay, the instruction will give you all the primary details that you will need regarding the question type. So do read the instruction first. So in case you have something like write no more than 2 words, how many words can you write here? Can you like just guess? So here you can actually go for 1 word or 2 words. Okay, so imagine this question comes and then you are supposed to write so the audio says the express train departs at 9 PM in the evening. So you will be writing 9 or 9 PM, because it doesn't mention anything about the number. I mean, in this case usually a number would be mentioned. You will not have to write 9. Suppose it says the express train leaves at night around 12 o'clock, then your answer would be night. Okay, or in the night, not at night. Anyway, you will have to make sure that you follow the word limit. Okay, otherwise, suppose you have a particular question to which the answer is the trip bus. Okay, that is what you have found as the answer, but we've already been said that you can't use more than 2 words, which means 3 words is not acceptable. What would you do? You will just cut this there and then you will write trip bus as the answer, right? So that is how the answer should be considered, because you will have to consider the word limit. If you write the trip bus, theoretically your answer is right, yeah, but since you haven't followed the word count, your answer would be wrong. Okay, now once you've read the instructions, you've gone through what the question type is and what you're supposed to do, and also about the word type, word count, etc. Now we'll move on to analyzing the question. Okay, so we'll get some time before we actually listen to the audio to actually go through the questions. Right now we have already done a video where we've learned how to use the 30 seconds time that we get, and also the introduction time that we get in the start of the listening test. Okay, so do watch that video if you are not sure about getting more time in reading the questions and listening, because reading the questions is such an important thing. Okay, now analyzing the question, what happens here is, you will read a particular question, Okay, analyzing has different parts. You will first time you'll read a question, second time you'll read that question to understand it really well. During that time you will actually mark the keywords that are part of that particular question. Okay, once you have marked the keywords, you will read that question again to make sure that you've understood the real idea about the question. You're not going to focus on words of a particular question, you're going to focus on the idea. You're going to keep in mind the idea and not the words, because you will not listen, you will not hear the same words in the audio. You will be listening to a synonym of this particular word. So don't focus on words, focus on the idea so that you'll be able to match. Okay, so you will do that, and then the last thing that you would do is you will guess. Okay, you will guess what word type would be appearing here. Okay, what kind of an answer could I expect? So for this question we know that either it's for this question, express train leaves at dash, we know that either it's going to be it's going to be a time for sure. Okay, now it's either going to be a time of the day like morning, evening, noon, night, something like that, or else it's going to be something it's going to be a time as it is registered in the clock. Okay, so it can be 9 a.m, 9 p.m, 8 a.m, 8 p.m, whatever. Okay, so we'll guess that particular answer. Once that is done, we are done with the analyzing part of the question. Then we'll wait for the audio to be played. We'll focus on the audio more when the audio is played, because the audio will be only played once, so we'll not have a second chance to listen to the audio. So we have everything marked, the question is ready, we know the question, we've guessed the word type of the answer. Now we'll just have to look at the question, focus on that, and give more concentration onto the audio. Okay, and then we can track down the answers by just listening to the audio that way, by following the sequence, using the clues, etc. Okay, so this is basically form completion for you. So we've dealt with this one question type today. Now there's another video that I'll be doing with each question type. Okay, so do subscribe to our channel, and also do keep a follow up so that you come across every question type that we do. So that's all for today's video. I hope this was useful for you. Until we see again next time, this is Abraham signing off from Mithra. Thank you.